So resolution one on the minutes, do we have a motion to table? Mylan. Moving around, Mr. Brown. Your clerk, can you call the roll to table the resolution one?
Yes, ma'am. Sheasley.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Rodstrow.
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook.
All right, on the bills. Any questions on them?
I'm sorry. I haven't seen it in months.
We just emailed them to us on Wednesday.
Did we do it?
Yes,
I
yeah, I went through them.
haven't seen it, maybe in this one. All right, I trust you. Oh, trust me.
Oh, sorry, it was less than.
14?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Pardon, is that Sheasley or Council?
Next resolution is the recommendation of our city engineer for amendment number one. DPW administration building roof replacement. Questions on it?
Just the exact paper.
Yes. Questions? Then next is, the recommendation, of the city engineer for the splash pad. Questions on this?
Yeah, what's the, this whole amount here is now what the city's on the mark for that.
It's still over budget, right? And
Yeah, 250 and 100. Yeah, well, we got.
No, yeah, one on for it. 250, 100.
Is this a pay first, reimburse later, or? We'll pay the. Thank you. Checks in the mail, brothers.
Did we even get the drainage completion?
Yeah.
Okay.
We wouldn't have run it, we would never. Right. Easy, good to see you.
Hey, buddy.
The financial thing, not engineering, but.
It's like quickest.
Is Adam out there by chance?
He is in his office and he's actually watching via Zoom, so he can come if you'd like him.
Yeah, I can hear him. Alright, next is the resolution for the local law. We did determine we only need 3 votes. Questions on this? Sorry, Adam.
Okay.
Good. Mayor, you have executive?
I do not. They raised it from a definition from the labor fund.
Okay. Council, do we have exec
I do, I was gonna say to me,
purposes of?
discussing the administrative assistant.
So this is personnel of a particular person.
Yes.
All right, let's go around the room. Is it persons or person?
I have one person.
Okay. All right, let's go around the room, Mr. Peasley.
Nothing but my phone. Thank you. I couldn't believe it. Ran my battery right down and just nothing. Trying to explain, given that. Old and new, or excuse me, old and young people that make comments, you know, so. Basically, I just want to commend our roads were great, but with the crap, we've had things, they've improved. Because, matter of fact, I'm fortunate in the city because when the state goes off to Twin City, they come down Ellicott Green. I get triple coverage. You pay for it, well, yeah. Oh, no, that's all I have. Yep.
All right, Mr. Fisher.
First one, the microphone for public use. Every time we have people come up to the mic and talk, the first person goes, yeah, it doesn't work, and then we just all yell and shout. That was more evident than ever the last time we had the public hearing. Before we go in there, can we verify that mic works? Because I imagine there's gonna be people wanting to talk today about comments on the resolution before and
I
after.
thought we tested every,
So I did just test it, so I came in and set this up before y'all all arrived. And then I would go into the council chambers and I turn the mic on, do a test, and then turn it back off, so I don't use the battery the whole time that we're in here. And then when I leave this room whenever the council president ends the informal, then I walk back in there. The first place that I go to is to turn that mic on. I do admit maybe once or twice last year, I might have missed the mic. But 90% of the time I get that mic.
It's a directional mic, you can't stand this far away, you gotta get right up to it, it will work.
Is the mic just for the audio recording or should it go out to the speakers as well?
Oh, it should be on the speaker.
I think it's a combination of both, yeah.
It didn't work last week. You weren't here, but
I
last week.
wasn't here, so I
you weren't
couldn't, I
here,
couldn't
but-
speak to it. I couldn't
Yeah,
speak to what happened last
But we
week.
had multiple people talking. We actually had to bring them up on stage and use council mics because we.
I did watch the
couldn't
YouTube,
get
yes.
talk.
Yeah.
All right, so the mic, you can check it before people start talking today. Second one, this is for Brittany, if you could help me out here. On January 21st, we had a resolution number 6, and on this, of that date, and the second whereas. It was about a settlement with a particular person, and it said pursuant to the terms of the settlement agreement. The name of the former city employee and the specific terms of the agreement shall be kept confidential by all parties. And I even asked the question of, can we do this? What is the legality of it? And you said we can put confidentiality agreements in these things, and everything has to remain confidential. I read a Buffalo News article, which you were in, and were you the one who sent them the redacted copy?
I did,
So you redacted it.
I did.
So then why would the mayor go on into the newspaper and identify the employee?
The mayor did, how you telling me, like, you want to bring our dirty laundry out
I'm
there?
asking the city attorney a question. If she redacted the report, she said she did. We had a confidentiality agreement in place. We had it in the resolution. And we actually discussed it that day during the session about the confidentiality of it.
Request, which is what the city was served with. On a FOA request, there are certain parameters in the law that we can exercise. Those parameters include redactions of certain personnel information. Confidentiality clauses in agreements with cities, municipalities and the like don't necessarily adhere to confidentiality. So because it's a public entity, so it's open to request. But again, if it's dealing with a specific person, public officers law does allow for us to redact the personal information. So when a FOIA request was received by our office, I responded accordingly, exercising our right under public officers law to protect an individual person. Whether
I
it be
agree with
a
that.
private person or an employee, so they wouldn't be subjected to their personal information being
And I
released.
agree with that. So was it wrong then for the mayor to be quoted in the newspaper of releasing that name? I'm not asking you, I'm asking the city attorney. So they can release the name. So the confidentiality agreement really doesn't mean anything.
If it's the same news article I'm referring to, I don't believe the two are likely to be the same. So I think the mayor spoke on one person. And then the article also referenced a agreement. But I
Take a picture of it, so.
I knew both of them before you even talked. He said, I know who it is and who's it made out to and where the $9,000 check came from and who it went to, before you even talked to me. So it's not that the mayor was spoken, right? Mayor was trying to correct something to make it was factual.
Yeah. It says John White confirmed Monday that the city reached a settlement with Meg Casal, a former recreation attendant terminated last spring. White said the interest was in the city's best financial interest. It's a smart business decision. So did you tell them you reached a settlement with Mike Passow?
I did not tell them, that's what you believe, you.
I'm just telling you what I read in the, I only know what I read in the papers. I only know what I read in the papers.
Keep reading it and reading that, but it's great.
Question, can they pull that, which
Because
is
they print the truth.
the treasurer's reports, her name's in there, check, where you check this off. If her name was in there, did they pull it from there?
They can go request anything,
Yeah,
but again.
you understand what I'm saying, because it's not redacted in our,
We could exercise our right to redact certain personal information if we think it's overly intrusive to a person.
Right.
And so we commonly, when we're served with FOIA requests, we commonly exercise that authority we have.
Right.
And then
Right.
there's an appeal process, and the person requesting information can then exercise their appeal rights and say, no, I should be allowed to have this information that we otherwise would have. Again, to protect the privacy interest of a particular person.
right, with that. Would be in the treasurer's report, redacted to it in his report, like we got it, and I seen where she was. Her name.
Or would they pay it to
Yeah,
the
you
attorney?
understand?
Would they pay it to her or attorney?
Well, I think there's a difference though, a FOIL request versus some document that's internal to the city. The
Right.
document internal to the city, we wouldn't necessarily redact.
Right, okay, but you understand, because that, I mean, you can pull it from there, because you can foil the
You can
treasurer.
go anyone's pay, yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying, that's where I knew who it was, but I read that in
So-
the report.
Exactly.
I don't know, but that report was about Friday. Yeah, right, Friday, the treasurer's report. Well, no,
Yes.
yeah, that's where I saw, it. I mean,
I'd like to know where he got all the information.
Because he had everybody's name.
He had everybody for even, so did it come from somebody in this room, Chris?
I'm telling you what I read
I'm
in the
just,
papers.
I'm just.
You're the one who's quoted as saying.
I know what he said, that is correct, but he had the information prior to talk to me,
He said it
is
from
it
us.
true? So I said, where'd you get that from? So somebody from this said something? That's what I'm asking.
So why don't you file a complaint against him? And why don't you have the city attorney file a complaint against him? They unethically quoted you and saying something that's not true. He's quoting you as saying something. You didn't say that. I would want that corrected. If it was me, someone said, I quoted as saying I broke executive and did this, I would want that
Because
corrected.
that sells papers and it's never gonna go through. It's sensational, because that's what sells papers, that's what they do. And that's the way they do things. They you believe this? I mean, I didn't.
There's
Chris, you
a
came
thing
up
called,
with-
there's a thing called truth in journalism. He can't print things that are knowingly false. He can't, if he says the mayor said this and the mayor didn't say that, he can't print that.
He very said he.
The chief knows that, right?
Yeah,
You know that.
you're exactly right.
Well, that's all I asked. The second, the third one's for executive, so.
True. Mr. Ryan.
And very quiet.
you cursed us.
I did.
You cursed.
It's like throwing a no hitter.
That's right. Last pitch gone.
Mayor,
We did, have a bike safety committee, Jim, thanks for showing up, we shipped it out to everybody, everybody saw it, no comments, there was, nobody responded to it, but it's very important, we got that together, shipped to the comments, want us to be a part of it, help us out. We need to get a lot done to help in the safety of the people on the bikes, on the bike paths, including the, signs of 15 miles an hour, for e-bikes now. A lot of work to do, we need a lot of help with money, to make the biking lights, or whatever we do. I don't wanna be a city mayor that somebody dies on a bike because they didn't do nothing. I wanna make sure we do something.
It just asked for comments. I read the meeting, oh, it's great. But I think just want to make sure that we're addressing it, not only on the bike path, but we're talking about on the streets as well. Enforcing the city, but and something about being able to enforce reckless driving. Not just on the bike paths, but on our city streets as well.
It's a combination of both. We're on our addresses like that first because of the initial issue. And the bikes with the motors on, little skateboards now. It's amazing what they fly to. Every one of us almost ran into it at one time. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in one of our neighborhoods, and it's happening with the kids that we know. And I don't want that, I don't want to be that person. I have to answer to mom and dad, either somebody was hurt, possibly killed, because we did nothing. We want to address it on the bike path, but we should out on the streets too. Erie County is one of those persons to be a bike path because we're happy. So we're trying to push down as an association of mayors and supervisors. And push that. we're doing the best we can with it, it's being addressed, and it's a start. We're putting a committee together with PERMA, I mean, not PERMA, with, white people, with, Greenway people, look at the past, I'm trying to communicate with all, of them. I think we had a good group of people together, so. I'm happy about that. And the other thing too is we had, we're picking up grants still left and right, which is very good. If we keep our mouths clean, people watch these things like crazy, if we show them we can work together, the grants will continue to come. He said that the first time I met them was a $10 million grant. We play nice and sandbox with each other, grants come. We continue, more grants will come, they're still coming. We also just picked up, Sharon worked very hard with this, when we get a perma grant. I'm really concerned on safety, I taught safety for the state for 30 years. And, we got DEC, and safety is very important, and we picked up a laptop, large flash screen TV through perma, the perma grant, which we were awarded. And we're gonna start doing trainings for some of our DPW drivers, we're doing driver safety in the first. We need to do everything from, tree truck training for the tree truck, there's actually one for, a street sweeper. I mean, anything to help our drivers. Think about it, because we have to, do an inspection of the vehicle, walk around it before they get in their vehicle. Every little step is important. And now with the new thing, municipalities are starting on fire because they don't have battery shutoffs. So we're gonna work on getting battery shutoffs for every single truck we have in that shop. Because when we're done, now they get out of the truck and go inside and shut off the battery. Because these batteries are starting fires inside the municipality shed at night while they're gone, so. So it doesn't happen with us, we're doing our due diligence on our side, safety is a major concern. To protect not only our equipment, but also the people who work. So it's very important, we're gonna continue the safety training. This is all pursuant to our new liability insurance company, working with them. It's huge, really nice working with somebody who cares about what we're doing. So they're working with us and they're giving me a list of all the safety videos we have, and they're all very great 20-minute, half-an-hour videos. They have them think before they get in the truck, think when they get out of the truck, think before they back up. Look at the rears prior to it, make sure the blinkers are safe. We're gonna go through it all with you. Safety is a big concern with you.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to go into executive session for personnel of particular people. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Sheasley. All those in favor? Then say aye, Chris. No, you didn't.
Actually, I raised my hand for the second.
All I saw was a hand. So
Raised my hand and I said aye.
say aye. Say it a little louder.
Inch between the. We'll go into our formal, do a second. Second by Mr. Sheasley. All
Bill,
those
what do
in
you
favor?
say?
I gotta pick up my coat, come on.
Hiya, Brady.
Are we going in the other room?
Where were you last week?
They open it up for. Just.
You missed a good one. The public hearing. Tonight's will be a good one for you too.
Oh, yeah, the public hearing, that was a really good one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Went
it
for about an
was.
hour and a half, had over
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Clerk?
I can hear you now. Yeah, I had my volume down low, but I can hear you. I'm gonna go
Well,
ahead and
meeting
start
is-
letting everyone in the waiting room into the meeting. Ready to go, Madam President?
Okay, let's call a meeting of the City of Tonawanda Council to order, 6:58 PM. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Teasley,
Here.
Fisher,
Here.
Roundstrow,
Here.
Mylum,
Here.
Cook.
Here, please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I'll turn it over to the mayor for his presentation of the Veteran of the Month. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight, we want to honor Mark Edward Vanderhyde, graduated from the city of Tonawanda High School in June of 1967. Enlisted in the United States Marine Corps immediately following graduation as a U.S. Marine Corps Lance Corporal with Company B, 1st Battalion. Mark succumbed to hostile wounds that he immediately upon attack in June of 28, 1968, while serving a tour of duty in South Vietnam. Mark Edward Vanderhyde was awarded the following awards: 2 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star with a V for Valor, New York State Service Cross, a Vietnam Gallantry Cross, Vietnam Military Merit Medal, Vietnam Service Medal with Pennant, National Defense Service Medal with the pendant, and also New York State Assembly citation. Thank you, Mark Edward Vanderhyde, for your honorable service to our country and to your country, and we thank you for your service. And from what I understand, we have people coming up. Please step up to accept the award for Mr. Vanderhyde. One will be posted in the aisleway when you walk in, and the next one will be given to the family. Family, okay? Why don't you come up here? What do you come up? John, come here.
Let you, the audience know, these are members of the Vietnam Veterans, Chapter 77, called the Vietnam Vets. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Jeff, you got a big loop there. Yeah. Yeah, somebody else go down first, because I know before the year's down.
I'll just give everybody a second. Communications from the mayor have been ordered and filed. Communications from city officials and correspondents have also been ordered and filed. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public on the resolutions. For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. For those that are joining us virtually, there's a spot for you to raise your hand. Mr. Clerk, any resident wishing to address the council on the resolutions?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Okay, let's proceed. We have a motion by Mr. Mylum to table resolution 1. It's been seconded by Mr. Rounstrau. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Peasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution tabled.
resolution number 2. Sponsored by council members Sheasley,
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Rounstrau.
resolved that the bills be allowed as audited.
Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 3, sponsored by council member Rounstrau.
Do you have a second? I'll second.
Resolved at the recommendation of city engineer Jason J. Lamonaco, PE, that award of number 1 to the DPW administration building roof replacement design phase services be made to Clark Patterson Lee at a cost not to exceed $71,880.
Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Peasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 4, also sponsored by councilmember Rounstrau.
I'll second.
Resolved at the recommendation of the city engineer Jason J. Lamonaco, PE, that award of construction for the Kohler Pool Splash Pad project be made to Groundbreaking Solutions LLC at a cost not to exceed $344,213.60.
Comments or questions?
Comment, Madam President.
Mr. Rounstrau.
I just want to comment that it's great to see this finally happening. We did get the funding for this a couple of years ago. There were some things to work out. I do want to give a special thanks to the mayor for helping us coordinate this. To Senator Sean Ryan, we got a grant for us for $250,000 to help make this happen. Our legislator, Bart Easy, he brought in another $100,000 to help us have this as well. It's just great to see something happen for our community. That's something that we're looking at to necessarily attract people in their city or attract tourism. It's something that's an investment into our community. Markets. That's a great thing that we can make happen. So, thank you to all.
Thank you, Mr. Rounstrau. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 5, sponsored by council member Rounstrau.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Mylum.
Whereas local law number 1 for the year 2025 for the city of Tonawanda, entitled "A Local Law Authorizing the City of Tonawanda to Impose a Property Tax Levy in Excess of the Limit Established in New York State General Municipal Law, Article 2, Section 3C," was introduced by the Common Council on January 7th, 2025, and laid upon each council member's desk for 7 days, excluding Sunday. And whereas proposed local law number 1 for the year 2025 has been reviewed and deliberated upon by the Common Council, now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council hereby approves and enacts local law number 1 for the year 2025, attached hereto and made a part hereof. Local law number 1 for the year 2025, a local law authorizing the city of Tonawanda to impose a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in New York State General Municipal Law, Article 2, Section 3C, which provides that it is the intent of this local law to allow the city of Tonawanda to adopt a budget for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026, that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as set forth in General Municipal Law, Article 2, Section 3C. This local law is adopted pursuant to Subdivision 5 of the General Municipal Law, Article 2, Section 3C, which expressly authorizes a local government's governing body to override the property tax cap for the coming fiscal year by the adoption of a local law approved by a vote of 60% of said governing body. The Common Council, City of Tonawanda, is hereby authorized to adopt a budget for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026 that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the amount otherwise prescribed in General Municipal Law, Article 2, Section 3C. If a court determines that any clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law, or the application thereof to any person, individual, firm, or corporation, or circumstance is invalid or unconstitutional, the court's order or judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder of this local law, but shall be confined in its operation to the clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law, or in its application to the person, individual, firm, or corporation, or circumstance directly involved in the controversy in which such judgment or order shall be rendered. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State.
Comments or questions? Mr. Fisher.
The shine on the floors of City Hall are paid for by the dirt on our work boots. The city of Tonawanda is a working class city. We are not an industrial city anymore. We are not a tourist city yet. We've become a bedroom community near the big city and the suburbs. That's not a bad thing. Our governor, Kathy Hochul, believes in us, and that's why she supported us by assisting with Canal Fest 2 years ago. And now she's investing $10 million into our city through the DRI. Remember that the DRI comes from the governor, not the mayor. This is not a Republican problem. This is not a Democrat problem. This is an overspending and tax the public problem. Our city can and will thrive again, but not through raising taxes. We will not lift ourselves up through taxing our residents. We will thrive by increasing revenue. Until that day, we need to make cuts to spending, cutting frivolous items. When times are tough, we tighten our belts. And if that's what it takes, so be it. Let's get ready. But I will not ask our residents, our neighbors, to go above the tax cap and finance this. I pay what you pay. And they elected me to say no. We will not pay for your toys. We will not pay for the extras. We will not pay for the stuff that is a want and not a need. Can we cut the golf courses? Can we cut the batting cages? Can we cut the driving range? No, we don't have any of those things. So let's vote no and hold the mayor to present the council with a budget that stays at or below the tax cap. Thank you.
Mr. Rounstrau.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm sponsoring this resolution, so I feel it's appropriate that I should say something about this. A couple years ago, I did vote against going over the tax cap. That vote was in hopes that we would have received a budget from the mayor that was reasonable, responsible, and had made cuts, or had owned the fact that the cost of things continue to go up in our city. Instead, we got a budget that hid those increases with a pull from the reserves. And this has happened for a couple of years. It's great that we've been able to stay under the tax cap, but by doing that, while still increasing the spending, isn't fair to the residents, isn't fair to the taxpayers of our city. The costs continue to rise, and unless we're willing to look at ways we can decrease that spending, until we actually get to a point where that revenue comes in, we need to do something about it. We need to split the cost with the residents, or we need to tighten the belt a little bit. Or we need to take things into consideration of underutilized properties that are throughout our city that could be better served as investment opportunities, people that want to invest in the city. A few years ago, I not only voted against it, but I brought up several options and opportunities that we should cut. I took a bit of a beating on that from the rest of the council members. We're sitting here today with even one of those positions has been eliminated since then, and is costing the city a little bit of extra money to get past it. We just need to tighten the belt. We need to be a little more careful. We need to get ourselves to that point where we bridge the gap between the spending and the revenue coming in. Again, there's great things on the horizon, but until we get to that point, we need to be a little more conservative about that spending. They have another point, and it just slipped. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowland-Strauss. Any other comments?
Yeah, I've got a comment.
Mr. Sheasley?
Numerous phone calls today, text messages, emails, whatever. In regards to this thing, this is the toughest thing I've had to do in the last, 15, 14 months, to even think about it. And it's very difficult. I feel for the old people because nothing goes up like everything else. I'm an old person. I'm 74 too. My income is limited also, and I feel for the ones that have less income than I do. It's a very difficult decision. And like Sean Fish said, that this is rough. This is rough. We got to make a hard decision, hard calls. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheasley. Any other comments or questions? Mr. Rowland-Strauss?
I do also wanted to continue with, I am voting in favor for this. It's something we need to move forward with. A tool in the shed and not a tool in the shed. It just doesn't leave us a lot of options at this point. It puts us in a tight spot. But I will say, as much as I am approving this, I will not approve a double-digit tax increase. I won't vote for a budget that takes a substantial amount out of the reserves to move forward. And if there needs to be an increase over the tax cap, I'd like to see some compromises on both sides to help us get to that point. And that's why I'm voting in favor of this, to give you the leeway to do that to us and present us with a budget in October that meets these needs. That's right for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowland-Strauss. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Nay.
Fisher,
No.
Rowland-Strauss,
Yes.
Mylum,
Yes.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public following the resolutions. For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. For those that are joining us virtually, there's a spot for you to raise your hand. Mr. Clerk, we have a comment on the floor.
Robert Gelsky, sorry, 203 Rogers Ave. So council members, I stand before you today to ask a simple but important question. Are we truly doing what's best for the youth of our city? Right now, the 2025 budget allocates $5,400 to the Youth Bureau, $5,000 of which goes towards salaries for a chair and secretary. These positions are appointed by the mayor with no required qualifications or experience. Meanwhile, the youth of our city are missing out on real opportunities for growth, engagement, and recreation. So what does the Youth Bureau actually do? Through my research, it would appear as though no one recalls when the Bureau was created, what the original purpose or mission was, when and why it changed to a board, or what it produces beyond youth days, something I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. Based on their public record, their involvement includes running youth days in the spring, assisting Parks and Rec with the camp out in the fall, sponsoring scholarship or funds for a senior, participating in Haunted Harbor and Christmas for Kids. These are all positive contributions, but let's be honest, they do not justify paying salaries for what is essentially a volunteer-based board where activities our parks and recreation or our schools already handle. So we've been doing it wrong for over a decade. I spent several weeks researching youth bureaus at both the state and local level. Here's what I discovered. The Youth Bureau is advisory.
It helps implement and secure funding for youth programs. State and county funding is available to municipalities with over 20,000 residents. A youth board is made up of primarily young people and identifies the community youth needs who work hand in hand with the directors of programming. Almost every municipality in Erie County has merged its youth bureau into the Parks and Recreation Department under a qualified director, essentially rebranding the Recreation Department by calling it a youth department, who is responsible for the youth recreation activities in the city. Here's the kicker though. Our city is not required by the state to have a youth bureau at all. The county youth bureau is required and is responsible for oversight and funding for municipalities. The city of Tonawanda has not been a listed member of the county or state bureau in over 13 years. The only state or county youth bureau requirement is for funding purposes. If a program wishes to receive funding from the state, they typically use this to offset employee costs. There is a requirement of having a population of 20,000 people. Unfortunately, we don't meet that requirement for funding. So where should this $5,400 go instead? Right now, we pay $304 and $116 a month to 2 individuals for overseeing just a few activities a year, most of which are already supported by our Parks and Rec or our schools. We are already paying for qualified people to do these events, so why are we paying for it twice? Instead of keeping this outdated structure, we should rebrand our Park and Rec department, like most of Erie County has done, to a Park and Youth department. The duties and roles of a youth bureau already fall in the hands of our recreation director. It would be more beneficial to use the youth board budget for actual youth programs, new events, equipment, opportunities, direct services. Instead of the fear of cutting programs for our youth, we could use these funds more wisely to provide for our youth. Create a true youth board. When young people have a voice and actually can help shape their own programming by working hand in hand with the recreation director, who can actually make their ideas happen. And a final thought. When I spoke with multiple youth and recreation departments across Erie County, I was met with disappointment. The moment I mentioned City of Tonawanda, the response was almost universal. That's just a patronage job appointed by whoever mayor is in charge, and it's been that way for decades. Is that how we want to be seen? Other cities invest in qualified leadership and real youth programming, while we spend taxpayer dollars, $5,000, on salaries for a board that should be volunteer-based. The youth of our city deserves better. As someone who has dedicated countless volunteer hours to strengthening our community, I understand the challenges we face. Unlike larger municipalities such as the town of Tonawanda or Amherst, we don't have the same financial resources, making it essential that every dollar we spend is spent wisely. I urge you to remove this budget line and redirect those funds to a legitimate youth recreation program where it can have real tangible impact on our youth.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, any resident who's joining us virtually wish to address the council?
Madam President, not at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Fisher.
For the Chris Fisher Gives Back this week, it went to Cub Scout Pack 286. In addition to the donation, I was asked to come out and speak to them so they can earn their, I believe it was their civics badge. So I was able to go out to the Cub Scouts talk and then present them with a check. Tax cap override, 2-2 with a tiebreaker. You guys see who voted how. And then lastly, I just added this as I thank Lindsay for coming up and speaking. I will be following up with that because I will send an email to the mayor to see if the youth board has actually done anything in the last year to justify what you claim is $5,400 of our money just going to a salary and not actually being used for youth stuff. So we will follow up on that. Thank you.
Mr. Sheasley.
I agree a lot with Mr. Fisher. We've got to look at it, not knocking them, whatever they try to do, but if we can spend the money more wisely, I think it should be done. If we don't, all our other boards, and I'm not knocking what they get of the youth group, it's like $30 a meeting. You know, so we're at $300 a month, that's $3,600. In the same of whatever comes out to 1,200. So I mean, we've got to look at, we're talking about budget and everything else. We got to look at consolidating some things to save money. If we don't do that, why the hell are we up there? Also, I'd like to commend the Public Works for the job they did in this, the Arctic weather we have. And all our other employees, because it's been rough on everybody. Cops going out, stopping a car in minus 20-degree weather, nah, that never happened in my day. No, but I mean, that's been a tough go for all of us. And as I say, the Vanderhyde Award, super. Mark was a friend of mine. Played a lot of sports together. We also drank a lot of beer because we're young soldiers at that time. Madam President, I'm done. I'll shut my mouth.
Thank you, Mr. Sheasley. Mr. Mylum.
Nothing to report this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. Mr. Rautenstrau.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Lindsay Jelski, for bringing all of this to our attention. I think this is really some great stuff that we all need to consider and need to talk about. Redirecting funds, especially at this time when we're looking at every penny. It's a great idea, especially if it's something that helps our youth and helps our kids in our society. Several years ago, we had to do a lot of cuts because of COVID, and a lot of our programs were on pause. I remember commenting that would have been a great opportunity for our director to maybe, and all of us, to talk about redirecting the duties and the purpose of that. Parks director that can focus on these programs for our youth, focus on our kids, rather than being involved with having to cut the trees and maintenance and everything else. We have a great DPW to do that. It's a great idea. I think we've also seen a great example of that with Mr. Nadell. Which is doing what they've been filling in. The youth programs have been great. Things that I've seen over the summer have been really spectacular programs. I've well attended. So I just want to say thanks for the great work on that. And definitely something worth considering on all of this. So I look forward to talking about this more. Thank you for this information. I think I spoke enough about the tax cap override, and Mr. Fisher makes some great points as well. It's a tough decision. Hopefully, by the time the budget comes out, by the time we deliberate on that, we'll have better things to work with. But I hope we can talk about this through the year, have more information, look at things like this. I brought up other things like the Civil Service Commission, possibly hoping saving us a little bit of money. Things like youth for maybe redirecting that better. When we're talking about stuff, if we're not going to cut services or find ways to, we don't want to cut services and maybe find ways around that. It's by utilizing other opportunities, better utilize property, better utilize programs to cut the tighten the belt and move forward. I think those are some ideas that we really need to entertain in the next few months before this budget comes out. And I also want to mention too, the mayor brought up the BRI. And there's some great investment opportunities coming to our city, investing in our Main Street. I think that's great. I look forward to all this coming to fruition. But I was also reminded this weekend too, last couple of weekends, popping in on Main Street, grabbing a couple sandwiches for my kids for breakfast because I was too tired to actually make them breakfast. But just kind of looking around and looking at the businesses that we do have on Main Street already. While we're excited about this new stuff coming in, I think we should still continue to recognize some of the anchors that have been a part of our downtown, have invested into our downtown area before any of our elected officials really thought about getting in there and doing something with our downtown, from Back to the Main Street program. And we have, a couple that was here, the Stevensons, Jessica and Tyler were here for the public hearing. But they've invested in our community with Hello Suites and put a great business in our community, invested into that. The Zuckermans with Twin Cities Deli, it's a great little place there. They serve great food. Even some of the more abstract ones, Shannon Barlow, Twisted Tiki. Tattoos, some people might frown upon it, but that guy does great business, has a great following, invests into a spot that's been steady on our Main Street. I do want to make a special mention because that's what brought it to my mind is the Wellsbys. You know, Ian Wellsby originally started with a vape shop on our main street. It's an opportunity. It was something different at the time. It was popular. New York state laws put bigger regulations on that and changed things around. And in that period of time, he's also, him and his wife had also invested in food service out of the Legion, changing with the times. But most recently, they've kind of taken down the business model and redeveloped it, reimagined it, if you will, into a coffee shop and a food shop. That's actually right. Made me think about getting some food for my kids this weekend there, but they do a great business. They continue to reimagine themselves and continue to be a great business in the city of Tonawanda and keep investing in our community. And these are people that are local. They live here and they invest in our community. You know, we've been seeing great things with JJ Riker, his family from Smoke on the Water. And when he's closed that, he's still looking into investing in the condos and the apartments in our area. TW websites, you know, he took that great building, Midland building that was just wasting away, and you know, redid it, redeveloped the place, and preserved the historical places. We talk about the needs of things like the laundromat. That's I know that's a spot that a lot of people that spend a couple nights on the canal and pop in there. You know, so we've had some great things on there, and over the years that I've been on the council, I've seen some improvements. As Mr. Milam says, there's movement at the speed of city government sometimes. It's sometimes hard to notice that, but I think it's important to continue to recognize those things and to recognize the fact that this $10 million can really make a difference in our community, partner with the rest of these things here, and have a sort of synergy that really enhances our city as a whole. Just want to remind people about that, and thank people for coming here, not only today, but coming out for the public hearing and sharing what's on your mind and your thoughts. It's truly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rounstrau. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, the DPW did a fantastic job in the streets. I want to thank them. Dave Liddell, Great Winterfest. Yeah, thank the Boy Scouts for setting up soup, hot chocolate and hot dogs. It was a tough day. It was very cold out there. And we had about 50 kids. I'm proud of that because we brought that back for, 3 years out of doing it. So it's the first time we brought it back, and congratulations. It's something to build on. I'm happy about that. Engine 3, also for what they've accomplished, the fire department responded to 32 incidents over the weekend. Actually, 15 of them are on Wheeler Street. It's important to know that that station is very important. 9 of the incidents were requiring immediate emergency medical care. And also 3 of the emergency medical incidents required advanced life support, ALS. There was a guy on Moser that dropped over, had a heart attack in his driveway. If we came up from William, that guy might not be there. There's a good reason why that is there. It's right next to our 2 high schools, one of the busiest areas in our city because of the amount of kids. It's a good thing. I'm glad it was there. And I'm just saying congratulations to our fire department for the amount of work they did over the weekend. It was a busy weekend. When we talked about the conversations, which I need to at least address, is the youth bureau. When I came in, the head of the youth bureau was getting $5,000. That's what their paycheck was, because it was related to somebody in the city. I cut that in half the first day I came in. Asked the person to leave and got somebody else to come in. It's unheard of. Those are the changes that we made because they were wrong. Maybe more changes need to be made. I'm willing to do that, but I hear crickets. The only time I hear something is when I come here. If somebody's got something, my door's wide open. Come talk to me. The problem I hate is us against them. I hate that. If you have something to say, come see me. I'm more than happy to talk to you. Communication. We should be doing what's for the best interest of the city, not what is the best interest for me or my ward, or beat my chest because I did something good. We do something good. We do it as a group. We do it as a team. And that's the way I celebrate it. And I want to celebrate it with you. So if we can change something, I'm willing to do it. We have a healthy, Drescher and Malecki are the people who audit the city of Tonawanda. We are healthy in writing according to Drescher and Malecki. We have an A rating in the city of Tonawanda. Nobody has an A+. We have an A rating, but we're falling apart. We're taking money from the general fund. You bet your butt I'm taking it from the general fund. I'm not going to keep 15 million in my pocket and raise taxes to 6% and take it out of your and make you pay that 6%. It's not going to happen. We save money in every division, every unit, and carry it to the next year for a reason, so we can utilize it. We bought a $1.1 million pumper, a truck, and we paid cash for it. Out of 7 years, we saved $250,000 in interest. Those are good business decisions. You want to know what's going on? Come talk to me. I'm more than happy to talk to you. We are healthy right now. And I can't wait till 2024 comes out and 2025 to show that we even did better. Because that's what's going to show. You know, the old saying, you can take that to the bank. Facts do not lie. And those are the facts. A rating from our Moonies. So if we go to take long-term on a vehicle or on a big piece of equipment, that's like your old TRW statement. Remember those? You get good interest rates if you're got a good rating. We have an A rating. And that's very positive. I love that. And the DRI grant, yes, it is from a HOCO, but it took a whole group of people a long time to put that together. In fact, in 2023, I rescinded it because I couldn't find a business to put $1 into the city of Tonawanda, let alone ask the state for 10 million. So we regrouped, and for a whole year we worked on it to put it together. So yes, it did come from HOCO. Mr. Fisher stated it is from HOCO. But damn it, we put that thing together and worked very hard to make it happen for this city. And we're willing to work on other things too. I have an open door policy. Please come see me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. So Mark Vanderheide, I want to thank his family for the sacrifice that they had and they made. I didn't know Mark. I know some of the fields that Ball Diamonds were named after him. I coached at those fields and my heart goes out to the family. I have nothing else.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. You kind of stole my thunder a little bit because I just wanted to remind everyone the process that the city of Tonawanda went through to secure the $10 million grant. I know the mayor, the department heads, individuals, council members, they worked day and night to put a proposal together that wowed a committee. And that's why we were awarded the $10 million grant. If the mayor wouldn't have submitted the proposal, the governor wouldn't have awarded the grant. So yes, of course, we're thankful for Governor Hochul, but it started with us. So just wanted to remind everybody of that. I also want to take an opportunity to wish my dad a very happy birthday. I'm pretty blessed to still have my dad around and want to get that on the record. I wasn't able to celebrate his day with him, but which I'm sure he had a good day. I had the opportunity to talk to Mark's sister the other day, and she was very thankful for the recognition and the certificate that was being presented to her brother today, and she wishes she could be here, but she said she would tune in, and I know she's very proud as we are. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Sheasley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a great night.